Sefton's finest upon the tide. We are the pride of Merseyside. When the mariners go, you'll hear us roar. It's been that way since 1894. Black and white, the future's bright. The trophies gleam, we are Marine.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Crescendo Way. I'm delighted to have with us for our latest podcast today two of the team from Marine's women's side. We've got Channie and we've got Sophie Lee with us. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
It's okay, you're all right?
I'm very well. How are you guys doing? How are you going to cope running about in this heat?
Not very well, not going to lie.
No, we had a brief conversation beforehand about acting skills, fainting, then that led to a chippy order. It was a whole thing. So we're going to put a bit of spotlight on the women's team today because football at the MTA is not just for the men on a Saturday and Tuesday. We have got the women's team there. So I'd like to start by a little introduction to the women's team. So the women's team's had a great couple of years. And we've reached finals, we've done well. So I'd like to start with yourself there, with Sophie and Channie. What got you into football? Can you remember your earliest memories, your first boots that you got? Who were your heroes growing up?
I started at Crosby Stewart when I was like 6. I want to say stayed at them till I was like 16, and then come to Marine. Rest is history.
I was about 6 as well myself, to be honest with you. I'm a lot older than Sophie though, so I've been playing a lot longer. Played at Liverpool and Everton and Blackburn, and then I stopped then, become a mum, and I've come back now, so I'm now finishing my career at Marine.
That's a great subject to touch on. How hard was it for you psychologically to go as a sports person, to obviously having to pause your sports career to take on motherhood? How much does that impact on a person to do that?
To be honest with you, it's massive, because when I was playing, like at my best, should I say, it wasn't really a massive women's game then. So I was playing in the Prem, as we called it, which is the WSL now, and there was not really any funding, so we still had to work and stuff around it. So to do things like obviously be a professional women's footballer, it was very, very few and far between. You had the likes of Kelly Smith and stuff at Arsenal, but then the rest of us, we had to work and do everything else around it. So it was more still just a hobby with the full-time commitment kind of thing.
It's much has been made as well about trying to bring it up to equal measure again, because as you've pointed out there, it is difficult for elite sports persons to then have to stop what they're doing, entering motherhood, and then trying to get, as you have done, coming back out of that to resume a career. How far is the women's game, do you think, at this moment in time, from being able to get to a point where motherhood is something that can be enjoyed without a person having to sacrifice who they are as an elite athlete?
I think it's come a lot further forward now, because you've got obviously a few of the girls that are mums. Obviously Tony Duggan's a recent one that's done it, but then she didn't really go back into playing full time. But then again, that was at age as well. So I suppose if you have a child young enough and you're still sort of in your prime years, it's probably a little bit more achievable. However, I don't know what the contract situation is now with other teams and stuff. If they have that built into your contract, if you do get pregnant, they will sort of honour it and work with you through it. I'm not sure on that side of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
That's a great, because this is a great insight for people like myself who've always had the question but never had the appropriate people to ask. So this is a brilliant thing. And I mean, if there's if there's young girls watching this now who like Sophie and other young girls watching football who love participating in football, my friend's daughter is a fantastic young footballer, but if they wanted to enter parenthood, sort of what sort of guidance would you give them? Is, would you say it's the access and opportunities are there now to be able to do that?
Yeah, I think it's getting there, and I think the more that it happens, the better it's going to get, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I'll be honest, the hardest thing I found with it was your body itself, like having a baby and then trying to even have the coordination to run again. It just isn't there.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's it. It was a conversation that we were having today with the introduction of the new buses, and there's no seat for mums to sit down with the pram. And I was saying, like, mum's expecting now to stand up, and what if they've had surgery after birth, and are they expecting now to stand up for all that time? So it was, this is a really interesting insight into the game from that side of things. I wanted to ask you both, who were your idols growing up?
Female side or the male side?
Either. We're unisex on this podcast.
Hard because there wasn't
many females.
Yeah, there was not many females there. Like, there was a local one to me, Karen Berg. I don't know if you know much about Bergie. She's like just a phenomenal footballer. She's unbelievable. But you obviously have the likes of Farrah Williams and Kelly Smith, who I played with and against and stuff, and they were again phenomenal athletes. Do you know what I mean? But you're a bit younger than me, so you might have a bit more.
I think Chloe Kelly, when she used to play for Everton, we went and watched it a lot when, like, with the school and stuff and outside the school, and she was great. Yeah.
I mean, for me, my niece, she is a big fan of Ella too. Huge fan, to the point where she was going to buy a Man United shirt. I had to put a stop to that. It just wasn't happening. I'm sure the Man United players Man United supporters within Marine, etc., they'll understand. I'm sure it'd be the same with them if they want to try and buy a Liverpool shirt. God bless, she's on 13. You have to explain to wearing that shirt in this city.
Yeah. I think the rivalry in the women's game's not as much. That's why.
Yeah, it's not.
It's a different world, I suppose. It is, but at the same time, I don't think people are going to sit down and have a conversation before they start throwing things. Can you remember what the first boots were that you got? I always like to ask people this question. Can you remember?
Pink. Obviously, bright pink night ones. I just love them. Bright pink.
I'm that old man with Puma King.
Yeah.
She's like, what are they?
What's Puma?
But after that, though, then when I got my own way, it was Adidas Predators. Obviously, Beckham was around then, and it was like,
big thing.
They were the best.
I think that's when sort of the Beckham brand was introduced and branded boot, wasn't it? It wasn't really footwear on a football pitch wasn't really a thing. If I recall back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, it was just like everyone had sort of whatever they wanted to wear. It was doesn't really matter.
No.
Whereas Beckham come along and it changed it all, didn't it?
For people who aren't aware of the position that you play on the pitch, would you tell us what position you play now, but what was your dream position when you were growing up?
So I play right back now. I don't know what my dream position was. I think I do left back.
No, we've had a bit of a joke within the team in the last couple of weeks because the left back wasn't available to play, and Vaughn was like, "So if you play left back," she's like, "I'm not."
Absolutely not.
I'm just not.
I can't do that. But no, I think defence. I've always enjoyed defence. I played striker a few times when I was younger. Loved that. Then I was like, no.
Go for it. Why?
Why not? Gently, them would have me head off.
Give it a run for them.
How did you find left back then, given the fact that you are a right back by trade?
I played left back for 7 years. Funnily enough, when I first started in Crosby Stewart, I played there. And then...
Because you kept that quiet, did you?
Yeah. I didn't know anything about this.
But I played there for 7 years, and then obviously I moved over to right back, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going back over there. Absolutely not.
How about you, Channie? What did you foresee yourself as when you were playing, as a young girl coming through the game?
I was always a winger, to be honest, when I was growing up. Wingers, striker every now and again. Because my game when I was younger was just get the ball and run, just go. You know what I mean?
Sort of go.
Now, obviously, I'm a lot older and a lot fatter, so that's not my game anymore.
He's still doing that. He kicks for this. Yeah,
so now a holding midfielder now that I've got a older.
Yeah,
I'm not anymore.
that was me. Mine was either centre half or defensive midfielder, just purely because, well, I can't run. That's just, that was a big telling thing. Then the other side, well, I'm the agility of a tank as well, as always works against you. So, but I could pick a pass out. I could knock somebody off the ball. So that was me.
Oh,
That was me. So sort of, I stuck to rugby. That was my thing. How important is it now for the women's team playing at the MTA and this now being home for training for your games and keeping Marine all under one roof? How much importance does that have to the women's team?
I think it's got a lot of importance, hasn't it?
Yeah,
like,
it's massive,
obviously,
yeah.
being able to use the facilities as well, and people who wouldn't know the women's team are playing on a Sunday. We've had a couple of people, haven't we, who say have been sat outside and like, oh, like who are you, kind of thing, and we've said to them, and then they've watched the game. I think it's quite important to obviously have that relationship with the club.
Yeah,
as
it
well,
feels like we're included as well, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Because you see, like a lot of teams who are in like our league, even leagues above, and the training facilities that they're on are like the park. Do you know what I mean? So they haven't got the facilities, and the grounds even aren't the best, to be honest with you. They're like clearing dog muck off the pitches and that.
Yeah, I know Wrexham have recently thrown money into their women's team as well, haven't they? To sort of, again, try and bring it up a level. And do you feel like playing at the MTA as well as bringing you guys up a level as well in terms of the facilities available to you to get the best out of your sports performance?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I think
we play different, don't we, on grass to while we play here?
Absolutely. Like if you come and watch us play here, we're like 10 times better than what we are when we go to like the away pitches and that. Do you know what I mean? It's just so much better. The facilities, it's Astro as well, isn't it? So
yeah.
It's a lot better.
On them pitches, the traditional grass pitches, but I just say the ones where it's like parquet characterized, you've had just like the lumps and bumps, and especially when it hasn't rained in the hard grounds, just impacting the game.
As well, so everyone's ankles go.
I'm far too old to be running around them pitches, I'm not going to lie. My legs can't hack it.
Sort of sat there as holding midfield and now your hands behind you.
I'm slowly getting centre half at this point.
Yeah. I was going to say, standing there in the goal mouth, just having a chat.
Yeah, and I'll just be like talking to Gemma, the keeper, like, right?
Yeah. How was your summer?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good, like, to be fair.
Since you've played for Marine, what's been your favourite memory so far, your favourite achievement that you've had?
I haven't long been playing. I only come halfway through last season. So, to be honest, I just love the banter with the girls.
Yeah.
We just have a ball. We're just constantly laughing. Do you know what I mean? We just laugh our heads off. But one memory that the girls have all told me about is the FA Cup.
Yeah, the FA Cup. So, do you know what? I can't even remember who we were against, and Bond's going to murder me for that.
She is going to kill you for that.
But we were against, so it was last season, and it was like the first round of the FA Cup, and we were losing 4-0 at half time, and we come back to win 5-4. I don't know how we done it. Convinced at half time, we were like, let's just call it a day now. And then I don't know what had happened, but Von was to give us some massive talk. And then we come back and won it 5-4. Obviously got into the next round, and none of us were expecting it. No one was expecting us to do that because the team was like, what?
A couple of leagues above,
like training 3-4 times a week. So we were all just like, oh yeah, it's just the fun of the FA Cup, isn't it? And then we won it, and we were like, wow, this is crazy next round.
Was that like a first half of purely seeing the difference in terms of the facilities and the technical abilities, being a full-time professional side versus yourselves?
100%, because I feel like obviously they've probably got similar facilities to us, but obviously they've got
the regular training probably more than once a week, and
they've got the full coaching staff and everything for it as well. Like obviously we've got Fawn and Jazz, we've got the physio as well, and then Jay the coach. But I feel like sometimes when you see, especially last season, it was just Fawn on her own.
It was Fawn, she's done a lot
for us. And then you'd see teams that we'd come up against, and they'd have like 4 or 5 people on the sideline or like staff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that plays a big part in it as well. So she's not like completely on her own type of thing.
I mean, coming through football, and then you've obviously, you've seen over time the changes to the game as well. Do you feel like the overall improvement and the investment in the game is sort of been like a rising tide lifting all boats. So you've seen your own game personally improve and just by the quality of the opposition.
Definitely, it's like our pre-season friendlies this season leading up to this season. We've played a couple of different teams. We're up Phoenix, Tranmere we were meant to play with. And obviously they're all a couple of leagues above us. And Bontes, it was obviously for a challenge because there's no point in playing a team that you're not going to gain nothing from. Do you know what I mean?
But as well, I think now, because I find we're playing girls who are younger than you even, aren't we? So there's loads more girls getting involved in football. So it's like the quality that's coming through and the standards are being risen because there's more girls interested in playing.
Yeah, there's more exposure as well, isn't there?
Yeah, because when I was younger, you'd hit like senior school and then it was like, oh, I'm not playing footy, I feel ashamed.
Yeah.
So then loads of girls dropped out. There's been like loads of my mates who are really, really talented footballers just stopped playing because of the stereotype that can come with a woman footballer.
Now that stereotype is changing, the women's game continues to increase in terms of the exposure to it, and the attendances are always going up year on year.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen as well that the women's team are actively recruiting for players as well. So how do young girls watching this who want to get a game, or maybe someone in your position, Channie, who maybe stepped away from the game for a little period and now want to come back to it, how do they get in touch to come down? Is anyone invited to do a trial, or is there certain expectations and a certain level expected?
Yeah, so we're doing open training sessions on Thursdays, aren't we? That's being advertised on the Instagram. But they can either DM the Instagram or email women@marinefc.com if they're interested in playing, and obviously we'll get back to them.
It is, and it's open to anyone, obviously, any ability. They come down and they fancy it, do you know what I mean? And then if they don't really suit our setup, obviously there's enough of us here and we know girls in other teams and that are other standards and whatever, and would obviously always point them in the right direction, because so many girls are just going missing because they're not getting the right help and support in finding a team that suits them.
Yeah, so it's more a case of even if it's not a person's not suiting your system, your style of play, there's still avenues to go, and you'll get a system to get there to get more people involved in the game.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt, because it's even like their ages and stuff. So some girls might come and they're only 16 and they've never played like open age football before, so it's a bit intimidating as well. So even if they're not ready to be with because we've got quite an older team, haven't we? They might want more girls their age. Do you know what I mean? So just come down, see how you feel about it, and then if it's not for you and you need somewhere else, then there's more people here to help you go in the right direction as well. And
I asked the other day, I asked this question to Bobby Grant as well, because I think it's a great way for players. Well, we talk about mental health, and I'm an advocate for mental health, and I want to know, so how do you switch off from football? Because it's so encompassing, it takes up so much of our lives. How do you guys switch off from it?
I've got kids. Yeah, so
to be honest, I do. But if we lose or we've had a bad game or something, I will be in a mood for the whole day.
Yeah,
I'm bad at switching off from it. But then on the flip side, when we win, we're on a high, and we'll all go and have a little drink in the bar or something, and it's a nice vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you guys work as a collective to improve things when you have had a defeat, and of course there's disappointment with that? You're always working together to find positives as to how you guys recover and get over that hump of disappointment and moving on to the next game?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I said it before, didn't I? All you see all of us doing is just laughing all the time. The time. We just constantly, the banter's continuous, isn't it? Just all taking the mick out of each other constantly. So that lifts you up straight away. As soon as you walk into footy, I could have had the worst day in work, or if the kids, whatever, do you know what I mean? You come and you just see Sophie standing, smiling at you. I'm like, yeah, I'm sound again now. Do you know what I mean? It's just nice.
Yeah, I use footy to switch off rather than switching off from footy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That, to be fair, yeah.
That's it. And I mean, speaking of switching off as well, if you have any problems with your boiler and you find that switching off by itself, contact our sponsor, GW Services UK Limited, for all your industrial boiler and maintenance needs. Please visit their website, gwservicesuk.com. So, one last question, because I know you guys have training and I know you need to get to it. So, just wanted to ask you before you go, how do people come to watch and support Marine Women? When do the games take place? Do you know what the cost of admission is? And is it, well, anyone welcome?
Yeah, so everyone's welcome, aren't they?
Everyone.
It's
It's a
typically
family.
Sunday.
Yeah. So Sundays, 2:00. We tend to play every Sunday at 2:00. Obviously, whether we're at home or away, just check all our socials to find out. But everyone's welcome, families, kids.
Yeah, and it's free admission as well. We don't charge to get in and watch us.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I hope people understand that the women's team are just as important as the men's team. And if even if you sat there with finding yourself throwing your thumbs on a Sunday, why not get down there? As you say, it's free for everyone, and especially for families as well.
Definitely, yeah. It's a nice environment to be around, isn't it? And like obviously, any little girls coming through who want to play football or whatever, it's nice for them to just come round and see. Oh yeah, like this is on my doorstep, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So and it's free.
That's it. And as you say, young girls, that could be the spark for young girls to take it up, who could go on then to have fantastic, international careers. Because footballers can come from anywhere, from any background.
Without a doubt, yeah.
That's wonderful. I appreciate you've got training now, so I don't envy you whatsoever. But thank you so much for taking the time to discuss today and being so candid as well. It's really appreciated. Thank you very much.
For having us.
Well, thank you, and for people watching, thank you very much. Remember to give the podcast, a like, share, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and we've got more content coming up. So, thank you very much for joining us, and take care.